Yeah, yeah. I love that track. I haven't heard it for years. That is a freestyler track. Told You So by the Freestylers. Oh my God. Please ignore me. I'm actually going to just kind of play that again. 1 second. Wonderful. Oh gosh. Oh, everything started to move then. That's not like me. Everything's always in place. So, good evening. Positive affirmations on the All About You show. So I'm just checking technicalities just to make sure that we are going out on all our platforms today. While I sit here, someone's just messaged me. Can't hear you. I am right here. I can hear myself. Can you? Here we go. Here we go. So we are now in. Let's double check. Yes, we are fantastically live. Welcome to Standing in My Truth, All About You show. And as everyone knows, this is, what should we say, National Mental Health Week. But in America, it's all about you, National Mental Health Week month. Not everybody likes to talk about mental health. I feel that it sort of sounds a bit glorified, and people are actually really suffering out there. People that you probably wouldn't expect to be feeling low, because the sun is now shining and we are coming out of lockdown. But I think the pressure of it all has genuinely got to some of us, and I am guilty as charged. Very, very guilty as charged. I know for a fact that there was days that I genuinely just couldn't come out of bed. And it's hard to admit that to somebody else. So I'm going to be very transparent before we bring our wonderful guests who are sitting in the chat room waiting to impart all their knowledge. But I have had my dark days to the point that I was using food as a coping mechanism. Now, some people may drink, some people may take drugs, some people may eat sweets. But I just ate anything and everything out of home. And so now I'm having to fight my way back out of that unhealthy state of mind. Now, that's my story. And as I said, not everybody wants to talk about mental health, but we need to, because it's not just in adults, it's also in children. So let's use today's show to gain some knowledge and understanding of how can we do or help you? How can we give you some tips and what's best to look out for, or even acknowledging that we could be depressed, or we are having not a breakdown, but just not feeling right, and when to say I need help and stretch your hands out to ask for help. Today, as I said, I've got wonderful, wonderful guests in the chat room. And the first person I'm going to bring up is a very great man that I was introduced to about 3-4 months ago. And who would know that he has imparted so much knowledge to me about the CBD oil, cannabis oil, which some people have no idea what cannabis oil can do for you. People just think, oh, you've just removed the THC. But I'm going to allow him to tell you about his company, Kanubu, which he's actually been on this program before, and to all the wonderful people that reached out to me and said, I bought his products and it's really good. And I wouldn't endorse something that I wouldn't have tried. So without further ado, let me bring in the wonderful Craig Kedder, founder, or I should say co-founder of Kanubu CBD. Here we go.
Hello,
Hi,
Molly. How
darling.
you doing?
How are you? Look at us.
Representing today.
We're
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm not in my standard t-shirt. I'm in your t-shirt today.
I love it, and it looks so good on you.
Oh my days! I blended with my living room downstairs because my living room is actually green, so you can imagine I walked and there was no part of me being a chameleon. But thank you so much.
It's a
It was
pleasure. It's a
well
pleasure.
worth the t-shirt, and I love it. Such a great fit. So I'm hoping that people can see the back of the t-shirt as well. Can you see that?
Yeah, Kanubu. I love the colors.
Yeah, so I have the beautiful Kanubu t-shirt, so thank you so much for that. And anybody that wants that, I'm not trying to plug it, but anyone that wants to walk around in this gorgeous, great feeling, not like my standing in my truth, just joking. But yeah, Craig, thank you for coming back on the show. You were
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Brilliant success the last time, and I had some great feedback. Trinity fed back. There was just so much. It was just fantastic. So thank you again for bringing another wealth of knowledge that you're going to impart on us today. Just give a brief synopsis before I bring in the other two wonderful ladies waiting in the chat room. A little bit about yourself, where you're from, and then we'll move on and we'll come back to what you do.
Just a quick one. I'm a 46-year-old male. I've got 3 beautiful children. I was born in Zimbabwe, but grew up in Johannesburg and then moved to the UK in 1995. I've always been a huge supporter or advocate of the plant itself, CBD, or you know where I'm coming from, the hemp plant. A few years ago, my father fell ill. Unfortunately, he was diagnosed with cancer, and I would make him cannabis oil to ease his suffering, and I could see it worked and it helped for him. Unfortunately, it didn't prevent or stop the cancer from killing him, but it did definitely ease his pain and helped him sleep and whatnot. So I've always since then I've always wanted to develop my own brand of CBD, and so I thought up Kanubu, and here we are.
Fantastic.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, talking to me. As people are going to find out later on that you're saying, everyone thinks it's only for cancer treatment or multiple sclerosis. I know that you will go in and explain a bit more that it can help anxiety. It can. I will speak to you about anxiety because I knew that not just for your father, you also used it for yourself.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
terrible anxiety that you used to have. But we'll go down a bit more about that when I bring the other ladies into the group. Thank you for that. Okay,
pleasure.
In the wings, I've also got a beautiful lady who I love all my guests, but I love her tenacity. I love everything about her, and I think she doesn't realize. I'll tell her later. But she's a fantastic athlete, and maybe I might be showing my age, maybe I'm not showing my age, but I have watched her grow, and it's an honor to have her on the program. I had her on the sports show about the beginning of March, and that was like a breakfast show. Now I've got her in her own entirety, no music, but just to get more information from her. I've got the athlete, kick off at 3 ambassador and mentor, and she runs her own mindfulness. I have got Sabrina Bakari. I should have had a drum roll there.
Thank you for my introduction. That was so
Oh
lovely.
my
Thank
God.
you.
That's absolutely wonderful. How are you today, my darling?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Thank you for joining us. And I know you're not in green as well, but I guess we can. Maybe I should have sent out a memo that we should all be wearing green. But joking. I just thought I'd do a bit of a representation. Sabrina, thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much. It's wonderful. And I know that you have a busy schedule because you're still training and you've got your, the people that you're coaching. So for me, it's an honor that you could stop your training and come and join us today. Please say hello to the audience and, what is it, who you really are and what you do.
Oh, thank you. So hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina Bakare. I'm 24. I'm from Luton. I'm a 400-meter athlete, as Valerie said. When I was younger, I won this thing called World Youth Championships. And I've kind of struggled to form that I once had as a younger athlete. But through my experiences, illness, injuries, I've learned a lot. And now I use my platform, my social media, my website, just to encourage people, to educate them, to raise awareness on all things about mental health, mindfulness, meditation, minimalism. And yeah, I'm just trying to help people help themselves, really.
Fantastic. Now, when we come back into the room after we've got our final guest, who is, which I won't say anything, but she's down there waiting. I've got some wonderful graphics from your page, your website, and we'll give them the handle that where they can actually tap into if they need someone that they, whether you're young, old, it doesn't really matter, that they, they could find solace and you could probably direct them in the right place. It'd be really good for them to reach out to you. And I've got some bits that you do. So I'll come back to you very shortly. And not without further ado, Corinne is it. She is just the most beautiful, like Sabrina and Craig, very peaceful voice, which is unlike me, who's quite excitable. And Corinne is the body therapist, is what I call her, and that's who she is. And she deals with meditation and literally massages for the body. So anything to get you stimulated, this she's it. She's just so it. And for me, she complements the three wonderful guests today. Without further ado, let me bring in Corinne Siao.
Hey.
How are you?
Hello.
Oh,
that was a lovely intro. Thank you.
Oh, because it's true. This is not work. This is just Val, just saying it as it is. So, Corinne, you've got Sabrina and you have Craig. Corinne, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I've had a real busy day of working.
I know.
And Sabrina, I loved what you just said, because this is what I feel as well. We help people to help themselves. That's the key thing. I love that. My name is Corinne Siao. I am a health and wellbeing specialist. I've been in the industry for probably over a couple of decades now, and that is covering everything from fitness to meditations to healing energy work, and physical therapies, massage therapies, helping people emotionally, mentally, physically, in every way possible.
Fantastic. Oh, exactly. And this is why I have the three of you here today, because as you heard me at the top of the show, and I may have to ask someone to probably put headphones in because someone is peaking somewhere along the line. There's just a little feedback. So I'll find out where it's coming from shortly. But it's not that bad. It isn't that bad. I'm sure somebody would tell me if it is. But I know, as I said at the top of the show, we know that there's people suffering as we speak, and it's not adults. Excuse me. There's children, and it's frightening. And you'd think that now that the sun is out and we are let out, we can go in the park. I mean, people are having full-blown parties, by the way. Do you know what I'm saying? For me, that surprises me. But I would say, what is your take? I'm going to throw this straight out there, and then I'm going to go into various different things that you do. What is your take on what's happening with mental health? Not glorified mental health, but people, what have you noticed that is exacerbated right now at this particular time? I'm going to throw that out to Craig. Do you want to start first?
Personally, I've noticed that people are struggling. I'm a CrossFit athlete as well, and I train on a daily basis, and even my friends are struggling to get back into the rhythm of things because we've been on lockdown for so long and we haven't been in the gym. It's just there's a compound of all sorts of bits and pieces. I think that the current state of the world is certainly getting everyone down.
And what about what are you thinking, Sabrina?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's the same. Like, we've had to really adapt so much. We remember we was in and out of lockdown. We had the restrictions, we had the 3 tiers, we had the national lockdown, and then really still kind of in restricted living. And what I've noticed, again, this is me personally, now things are opening back up again. I'm back in work, and so my life has all of a sudden become really busy. So I've gone from having the time and to do what I want to do to having all the things that demand my attention. And I've got to remember, I've got to remind myself, it's okay to relax, Sabrina. It's okay to take your time. But yeah, it's a bit overwhelming. And so I'm sure people going back into work and things, it's just a bit much. And so, yeah, it's just a reminder to say, okay, you can take this time to yourself. It's okay.
Yeah. And to you, Corey, what are you noticing as well?
Yeah, I think it's the same as what you guys have said. I mean, we've gone for over a year of a pandemic. Things got turned completely upside down for everybody. People didn't know whether they're coming or going, and that's children as well. And then you've got to think about the influences of TV and stuff, which sometimes are quite negative. And that goes in your subconscious. So people are adjusting now. Restrictions are getting lifted, and it's a whole turnaround. So now people are venturing out. Are they ready for that? Some people aren't just yet.
Good question.
So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people suffering from anxiety at the moment, and that is kids as well, for sure. I've dealt with them.
100%.
So, yeah,
I've got 3 of them.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Such a great point. I tell you what, I wasn't going to start with that. I was going to bring that down to the end. Let's go with let's. I've got little bits here that I'm going to chuck on the screen. And it's something to see if I can find it. Let's go with self-care and mental health for kids, because we might as well start here, because you're saying, as you can see, I've put up a little thing about sharing feelings. Now, there are parents out there who have been already overwhelmed. Do you understand? Parents and young adults. So let's not just say, little ones from 4 or 5. We're talking about young adults as well, like from 15.
For sure.
The
Even
14,
one of mine, for sure.
Right. So you got the 14-year-old, 15-year-olds, and what are the things that you think? Because how do you notice the signs? And even if you're not sure that that's what they're going through, how do you keep them occupied or try to find out, why aren't you speaking? You're not speaking anymore. You've become a recluse, or you're acting out. How do you know that that's, that's a mental issue going on there?
It's difficult.
Well, for me,
carry on.
Go on.
No, I was going to say
for myself. Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, every child is different. Every person is different. For myself, my oldest son, he's in university at the minute, but he started noticing differences in his mindset, and then he'd call me up and be like, "Mum, something's going on. I'm not feeling right. I'm not kind of in control of myself. I'm getting these kind of panic attacks." I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. I'm sure he won't. But yeah, these episodes would come on, and they'd come on out of nowhere. He didn't understand what was happening, but I deal with this, fortunately. So we would have lots of video calls, conversations. We would do meditations. We would do some breathing work. I assured him it's going to pass, but we're going to work through this together. And it's just letting him know as well, don't try not to let it overpower your mind. Okay, it's there, acknowledge that, but don't sit with that feeling. So let's use some tools and we'll try to get through this. And thankfully, I think that probably happened for about 4 months, maybe. But it does
what
seem to
tools
have
did you use? What tools did you, adapt to get him out of that slump? What tools?
I think it was like reinforcing everything is going to be fine, everything is going to be all right. And doing the meditations with him, getting him in a nice headspace. So not letting him get tied up in these thoughts, these overpowering situations that he didn't really understand. And just calming him right down, clearing the mind, doing the breath work, going through all of that, which he didn't do before. So then he was able to do that himself and just calm himself down, because sometimes your heart can even start racing, can't it? So just really calm everything down and get him back in control of his mind rather than letting the mind control you.
That's beautiful. What would you say to the parents who are dealing with children who someone has just put something in the chat room which will address that. So I'm just going to go back before I read this question out and throw it out to the room. So you've done that with your son. What would you say to someone else who's hearing what you're saying, Corinne, and saying the breathing? What would you say to them to approach your child to do that?
Firstly, just always reassure your child everything is going to be fine. Reassure them that this is happening to many people, so they're not alone with it. They don't need to feel isolated or different or embarrassed. And just get them in a nice calm space, build that connection with them, build their confidence a little bit,
and see how they go.
Nice music. See how they go. Just keep connected.
So Sabrina, in your line of work, because you know, being an athlete, you know, yourself, and not being able to get out there and run, but you've got youngsters that you deal with that are, you know, below you. What have you noticed with them? What have you noticed?
Well, in terms, to be fair, the youngsters I have, they've been quite good, as in now we're back running and coaching and training and stuff. You can just say that they're just happy in their mood and stuff. They're back doing what they love. But a thing I'd say, like, a tip is always good, is like positive self-talk. I use that a lot for myself. And yeah, it's a similar thing. It's just positive reinforcement. And again, with this whole thing about, oh, what's happening now isn't going to stay here forever. It's just a temporary thing that will pass. And it's just being able to see that little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, positive self-talk is something that's really been beneficial in helping me get through things and stuff.
What are the positives that you do use? Give me some of the things that, because I've got the bits that you do use in your, you know, on your page and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But rather than me throwing it out there, you know, like for instance, as I said, you deal with reflections, daily deeds. So for the youngsters, we'll come to the adults, but for the youngsters, and you know that they've been locked up at home. And now they're happy to get back out and start running. But before they got back out running, they needed to still be kept motivated. So what are the reflections? Give me one of the tools that you used.
Okay, one of the reflections really was just journaling. And that's literally saying something you're grateful for every day. I think that sometimes it can just life into perspective. I know we were in restricted living. You might not be able to see your friends. It was different. Maybe you was locked in your room doing all these classrooms, but at the end of the day, you're still happy, as in you're still healthy, you still got your family surrounded by you, you can still access some green space, get the light on you. So I think them daily deeds or them daily grateful writing your things down are really reinforcing them that, okay, life is good, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm quite privileged, I'm quite lucky. So yeah, it's just a constant reminder. So yeah, gratitude journaling was one for sure.
Craig, what tips and what can you throw onto this situation?
I mean, I can only speak for myself. I've got three youngsters. I've got a 4-year-old, a 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old, and I'm lucky in the sense that they're not too old, in the sense, you know, that they weren't missing going out and mingling with their friends. They were still, you know, happy to stay indoors. The eldest, unfortunately, has spent perhaps a wee bit too much time on PlayStation, but I've given him a bit of slack, and I've tried to keep things positive. And well, me and the other half have tried to keep things positive within the household. and just we haven't taken anything too seriously. I mean, even, you're going to probably shoot me now, but even the schooling whilst we were on lockdown, we didn't force them.
Me too. That's it.
It's okay. You know, it's okay.
It's okay.
And they're quite resilient, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm lucky in that regard.
And you found that they were more responsive, where you weren't forcing things on them, because for them it is, being young, it's new. It was new. It's new for all of us.
Very much so. And we kept it real. We didn't keep anything from them. You know, we tried to explain to them what we were in terms of the lockdown and why, and the virus, and just we didn't try not to lie.
Great stuff. Now, one of the questions that we had in the chat room already, it's difficult because the majority of teens are always in their rooms on their phones, etc. Very good point. I tried to make sure I have conversations with both my girls, who are 16 and 21, and not being able to see their friends was an issue in the earlier months. And that is so true. You know, I guess, you know, again, that is so true. And that's really great. Thanks for putting that in there, Jackie. But so that's with the children. What about the kids who don't have that sort of support, or the parents don't have that knowledge? So it's all well and good that, you know, Corinne, luckily for you, you have that great mentor, you know about meditation and yoga and eating right. And Sabrina, you know that you've got these kids that you can speak to. They can jump in the playground. They can run away from their parents and be with you. And it's like, yay. And with you, Craig, you've got the kids at home. You're keeping them okay. This is great. But what do you say? And again, you probably might not have the answers, but what would you know, give an idea of what you think, or a synopsis how it should be for a parent who doesn't know how to cope, who is not even coping herself or himself. How do they try to cope to allow their family to exist? Let me throw that to you, Craig. What would you say?
I think it's extremely difficult, but they should reach out. Definitely 100%. They need to be talking to people. We're in this, albeit everyone says we're in it together, but we are in the sense. And honestly, people just need to reach out and have a chat with someone. Call your friend, call your mum, call your dad, call whoever, and reach out. In my opinion.
In your opinion, yeah, that's one of the things that people do say. Sabrina, what do you say when there's an adult that you're young yourself? So I want to hear your perspective. No, seriously, it's good to get it from a younger perspective of, you haven't got children. So, but you deal with youngsters and you deal with elders, what do you see that you feel that, oh, wow, what can I impart here? Because are they going to listen to me? Are they going to listen to you? It's like,
you don't know. I think it's so true. The honest conversation is definitely a key thing. I think that transparency and just saying, actually, I don't feel equipped to have this conversation maybe with my children or whoever, but the world of the web, there's a lot of useful information on there. The NHS website, type them in, or can signpost different charities, Mind. There's quite a mental health foundation. There's a lot of tips and things that you can do young people and with your kids, with your family members. Even if you don't feel equipped yourself, they can provide you with some sort of tips, tricks, knowledge, they can go through and read. And so I definitely feel like that's starting point if you feel completely out of touch with the conversation.
Everything. Corinne, I'm going to bring this question. I'm going to start this question with you. So let's come to the adults. And, the last session that we were on with you, Corinne, it was beautiful. You brought a lot of breathing technique, and which, don't you worry, because I want to get that right at the end. I'm going to get you to get all of us into that. Let that breathing side. I'm telling you, it is so therapeutic. It's scary.
It's good. Do you know that literally, if anyone's suffering from high blood pressure, it will bring your blood pressure right down. It's great.
And we're going to get you to do that again. I swear, for everyone, whoever watches this back, I hope that you're set. So I'm saying this to you now. Be ready to have everything brought down, and you can go and have a cocoa and go to bed, or a drink after she's finished with you. But let's go back to why you're all here individually and what it is that you do. Now, the last start, Corinne, I'm going to start with you. So, and this is something that I've noticed that you're doing as well, Corinne, and I hope you don't mind me showing it. So come on, Val, find it. This is what you're doing. Now, Corinne, now that we're open, and this is what this is something, is this a new clinic you've now opened? Oh, don't think she can hear us. Right, I've lost. Oh, here she is. Okay.
We're back.
Yeah, and Craig. Oh, here we go. Yay! Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've moved.
I know, right?
Had a shuffle.
Yay!
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, everything just switched off. Naughty. Let's bring everything back. Yeah. So Corinne, I've just showed, something is that a new incentive or inventive that you're going with right now? What is
something
that?
That's something I've been doing for quite some time. So this is like on-site work that I may do. So that could be privately with a person, it could be with a couple, like a married couple, it could be with a family, or it could be on a corporate scale. And it's basically covering the whole health and well-being. So that could be physical pain that people may be suffering from, or it could be, again, sort of emotional or mental. So I will basically chat with the clients, find out exactly what's happening, and then I can tailor treatments, whether that be to do simple meditations or to do some physical work or to combine everything. Just again, to, like Sabrina was saying, I love to help people to help themselves. So really showing people how their body and mind actually is designed to feel, because some people get a little bit stuck, let's say.
Beautiful. And with all of what you've just said there as well, I'm going to now just waft this over to Craig, because Craig, you have anxiety, or you had depression, and
anxiety.
Can you tell us about your depression? Because I'm going to show you, Corinne, how what you do is going to tie into what Craig is doing, and hopefully this, by the time we get Sabrina, people will get a picture of how, anxiety, depression, and having, serious mental health. We're hoping that the balance here, they could pick something from it. So this is what Corinne does, okay, and she's used to it. Now, as I said, Craig, you have dealt with depression, being down there. How did you cope? And that's before you got to CBD. What was it like for you?
For me, it's depression. It was certain aspects of episodes, should I say, in my life that brought on, negative feelings. The loss of my father, my wicked ways in the 90s. But anyway,
we all may have had a few of them.
Yeah, right.
But anxiety for me has been my major issue. I mean, even now, just talking to you lovely ladies, I'm full of it. I'm sweating. I'm all over the place at the moment. So yeah, in any situation, be it any live speaking, I'm very I find it very difficult. So for me, even now, as you can hear, I'm struggling to a certain degree.
How do you cope with it? How do you deal with it? And what are the things that you have to say to yourself to take you out of that anxiety? And how far does it go?
Meditation definitely helps. I like to sit and reflect. I utilize my CBD on a regular basis. In fact, I supplement daily, and I find it helps. But I'm going to go into that in a little bit with my slideshow that we discussed.
Sure.
But yeah, for me, anxiety more than depression, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, I find just reflection, meditation, and then my products assist me as well, to be fair.
So let's come on to your products then. So as I said, Corinne's got the meditation, and that works.
Definitely.
And Corinne, just chime in and tell me if you agree with what I'm going to say here and what Craig is about to show us, and vice versa, Sabrina. So Craig deals with CBD oil, and I don't know if it can be used in children. I know you can use it in adults, and there's people that, like, here, for argument's sake, people says, how safe is CBD oil for depression? How safe is it for anxiety? Things like that, So I'm just trying to find the slide that tells me what CBD relieves pain, stress, anxiety, bone growth. So these are all little things that people talk about in terms of CBD. But here we are in, this whole mental health week. It shouldn't just be for a week. I want to know, Craig, do you think that the CBD does help anxiety? And what are the side effects to do with depression, perhaps?
Well, let me, in fact, if you don't mind, I'm going to cut through to the presentation that I've got and perhaps show you just a few slides, and it explains it better. I mean, CBD is a compound of the hemp plant. It's one of 140 known cannabinoids in the hemp plant itself. Because it's been a Schedule 1 drug for such a long time, we're still learning so much about this particular plant. Let me just quickly show you this.
Because I'm going to I know that Sabrina, while you're doing that, I know that Sabrina is an athlete. Now, being an athlete, and even if she wanted to try CBD, she probably couldn't because of the tincture, or what the
THC in the element
in it. Do you understand? And
I'm
sure she would agree. She's nodding her head, so I'm sure she would agree. But I will let her. There's other things about Sabrina that I know, and I will ask if she doesn't mind me talking about it after a while. I will come to that. This is what it will then shoot up to my next question.
Of course.
I'm going to share this. Go ahead. There you
go. Can you see this?
I can see it. Yes.
All right, brilliant. So cannabis CBD and the ECS. What is the ECS? We've got a number of systems in our body. We've got a skeletal system, a respiratory system, muscular system, circular system, digestive system, and a nervous system. All various systems that we've known about for a very long time. In the 1980s, they discovered the endocannabinoid system. Now, this is a system that regulates pretty much all of those systems. It's a very important system. So we've got CBD receptors within our bodies because we produce CBD naturally. I mean, one of the biggest downloads of CBD we get when in our life is from our mum's milk, because it's loaded full of CBD. So CBD1 receptors, we've got motor activities, thinking, coordination, appetite, short-term memory, pain perception, immune cells. So the immune system, as I said, CB2 receptors are in our gut. They've been found in our kidneys, our pancreas, in basically every single cell in our body. For instance, as I said, it's in our immune system, our livers, our bones, it's everywhere. And we are generally deficient of CBD because, I mean, back in the day, we used to eat, our meat was fed hemp. and we used to get a lot of our CBD from our diet. But unfortunately, in the 1930s, we stopped feeding our cattle hemp, and we changed to corn, which is sugar rich, and it's one of the reasons why disease sort of skyrocketed from those days. Now I said the ECS. What is the ECS? It's the endocannabinoid system. It addresses the pain receptors. It helps minimize pain. The same with stress. Your endocannabinoid system will address stress. It'll take, and taking CBD helps the ECS balance the stress responders and hormones in your body. CBD is also used to support the endocannabinoid system, whose main job is to keep the body in balance, i.e. to keep the body in homeostasis. Now, we've all heard of the runner's high.
Now, what's that?
Well, I mean, Corinne, you'd probably be, no, sorry. Sabrina would probably be able to relate to this one. My apologies.
Yeah.
And the runner's high, for decades, scientists have suspected that that endocannabinoids and not endorphins were the key to experiencing the euphoria that we get from running and from exercising. But now a study's been they've recently done a study, and it actually it's the endocannabinoid system, the endocannabinoid receptors, not the opioid receptors in our body, that cause the runner's high. I mean, the CBD, like you mentioned earlier on with anxiety. Now it's as I said, you know, this particular plant has been demonized for so long, and it's been a Schedule I drug for such a long time that we're only just starting to learn about it and about our endocannabinoid system in our bodies. And anxiety is another thing. I personally believe we need more research. The endocannabinoid system may hold the answer, but when anxiety prompts the brain to issue an emergency alert, an internal override system known as the endocannabinoid system can restore balance and calm. Researchers are hoping that a better understanding of the ECS functions may help settle that question as to whether or not CBD will help with anxiety. A survey recently done with 5,000 people by the Brightfield Group found that 60% of CBD users had been taking it to treat their anxiety symptoms. Right. So does it help? I don't know. I honestly believe more research is required.
Okay.
Self-love, what degrades the ECS? Environmental pollutions, prescription drugs, junk food, emotional stress. These all degrade the endocannabinoid system. Unfortunately, we can't stop aging, but I think we can perhaps do something about the other 4 items above that. For a healthy endocannabinoid system, you need to eat real food, because that provides the body with what it needs to build healthy cells. You need to supplement with herbs like the spices like ginger and turmeric. These both soothe and tone the ECS system. Detox. It's important to cleanse the body of inflammation. Now, you can use supplements like phytocannabinoids, which now phyto means plant matter, like CBD and THC. We touched on THC earlier on. Unfortunately, THC has been demonized for a long time. In fact, in my opinion, for too long. And it's also been abused for too long. This is why I'm a huge fan of legalization. Meditation. I believe that meditation and yoga and exercise is all very important. And healthy relationships, smiling often triggers the release of CBD. And that was the few slides that I wanted to put together for you.
With all of that information, and for people who haven't had the chance to be online right now to watch it, and you know, on the replay, all of that information that you've given to them, I'm going to take it that we understand it, we get it. Definitely, you know, Corinne would definitely get it because of the meditation. It's a relaxant. People smoke it without actually having the THC removed. Sabrina can't take it, but for years we've always heard people say, "Oh, right, you know, if you smoke weed, you'll be depressed. It can cause depression." You have lots of youths out there that have been smoking for so long, the high grade of whatever it is that they want to call it, and they are completely they're
skunk.
they're delusional.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
it's unfortunate. As I said earlier on, it's been abused for too long, and it's been grown. We're talking about the cannabis side of it, not the hemp side of it, which is generally the CBD side of things. Now, the cannabis is, as I said, it's been abused, and you're right. The plant that you can get on the streets now from your mate down the road is very high in THC, and I think prolonged use of that isn't good for you. Too much of anything isn't good for you. I honestly believe that that people who, say, for instance, have a psychotic episode on that stuff generally might already have underlying issues.
There you go.
And this particular substance then brings it out.
Brings it out.
Right.
Correct. Now, I'm a huge advocate for legalization, because I honestly believe that if I had a dispensary down the road, I could go down there and I could say, well, I want that one that's got high CBD. I'm not that keen on THC, so just a little bit of that would be nice, because I want to have to sleep.
Because then it's monitored, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah,
it's regulated and it's monitored,
yeah.
precisely. And you know what you're getting. You're getting a clean, safe product.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I agree.
Getting excited.
Yeah, he's getting. See, your anxiety levels just literally went. I'm in my zone.
Crazy. Yeah.
Sabrina, you've heard everything that Corinne has to say, and Craig. And as I said, you're an athlete. Now, you can't go around, talking about, CBD or stuff like that. But I hope you don't mind me do you mind sharing? You've had your own issues with injuries, and they come and find that you had, if you don't mind me sharing, which you did the last time, lupus. Now you wouldn't look like people don't even know what lupus looks like. Do you mind sharing your story with with us all? Because
for
what
sure.
you go through, that alone affects your mental well-being. Please share your story.
Yeah, definitely. So for anyone who doesn't know what lupus is an autoimmune disease, and what that means is basically the immune system gets a little bit confused and it starts to attack its healthy cells. Lupus presents itself in many forms, and the lupus I have, it's called cutaneous lupus erythematosus. A bit of a mouthful.
Wow.
But basically that means the sunlight, the UV in particular, UVA and UVB, that triggers a flare-up. And a flare-up for me comes on my face, my ears, my upper back, my chest, my arms. And they create these like red, they're called papules, but they're kind of like red lesions. So what I've got to do, I've got to take a drug called hydroxychloroquine. I take that tablet daily. I've got a factor 50 all year round, even in the winter. And I know we live in UK, but I've got to wear it because it's the UV, that's specific thing that I've got to protect myself from. I've got to wear long sleeve tops, high neck tops. I train outside. And so when we first got diagnosed, I was trying to find the balance of, okay, I need to train, but I've also got this condition and I need to protect myself. But I wear a hat all the time. I try to be mindful of my sun exposure, be in the shade, have an umbrella when I need to. But yeah, when I first got diagnosed, I didn't really know what lupus was. I just heard it was like, it sounded really scary at the time. But it's one of them ones, it's like, okay, I've got this now. I can do best I can to try and manage the condition and be mindful of my behaviors and stuff. But what I can't control, I can't spend too much energy exerting on that thing. And so I can just control what I can control, and that's just my behaviors around it. So yeah, with the inflammation in the CBD, it's quite interesting because that's what you did say, it can reduce the inflammation and stuff. So
it certainly helps with your and you can get a pure CBD product without any THC.
Okay, yeah. Interesting, yeah. Do you do that?
Craig has the link.
Look at this. Knowledge.
Do you?
Craig's got the hookup.
Also, Sabrina, you also had an injury. You was telling me where you're training, you're not able to wear socks. So just tell me about that as well.
Yes. Yeah, so that's a very new thing I've had. I know Valerie told me not to say unfortunately, so I'm not going to say unfortunately. It's just something I've got to manage again. I remembered. I got told off. I kept saying unfortunate, but it's not unfortunate. It's just what it is. And it's something I've got to maneuver and manage my way around. But yeah, this diagnosis that I've just recently got given is called Lichen Simplex Chronicus. And when I say it, it sounds like a Harry Potter spell. But basically, when I wear shoes of any kind of trainers and stuff, it creates like an inflammation on the back of my heels, and my creates these extra layers of tissue, and it's very swollen, very inflamed, very red. And at the minute, I haven't worn trainers or any kind of footwear that rub my heels since January the 18th. You're thinking, as an athlete, how am I managing? But we've had to adapt. I'm going to the gym in socks. I'm living in sliders, flip-flops, sandals, Crocs, you name it. I'm seeing different doctors. I'm under dermatology. Yes, in winter it wasn't very nice. So I'm glad the weather's improved a little bit because my little toes are frozen in the winter. But again, things I've just got to adapt and deal with it. Throughout my career, basically throughout my career, I've had all these battles and these injuries, and I just had to reframe my thoughts around what failure is, and these are just temporary obstacles that I'm gonna overcome eventually.
But
that's really helped me with
though. It wasn't that easy because
no, not at all.
Just tell us how, because I'm going to go into this part as well. From what the last conversation we had, you obviously you got injured, your knees, your ankles, everything. You're looking to go to the Olympics. You don't make it because of your injuries. And then, you're out for like 8 months at a time, 10 months at a time. And now your mind is, am I going to make it? Am I going to cope? How am I going to get this? You're studying at the same time, obviously, because you study psychology. And it's how, studying that alone, knowing that how your mind is already, going down a deep, what I should say, deep in the pan. Just explain to us that there was something that I loved what you said that you did, which was, you mentioned earlier, the journal. But I found that social media plays a major role in a lot of people's breakdown.
It's so just
one of the things, massive.
100%. So at the time, so this was in my final year of university. Again, I had my dissertation, I had final projects, I was injured, and there was a time, again in my early 20s, I was really struggling with comparison. I was comparing myself to other athletes, and I was thinking, why is this happening to me? Again, I'm injured, I can't perform. I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach the heights that I was as a youngster. I was trying to seek validation on social media, and you're questioning whether the picture was good or not, depending on how many likes it got. And I always have a lot of conversation with myself. Like I always talk to myself. And I realized it wasn't very healthy what I was doing. And so I decided that there's somebody I followed on YouTube, Matt Diavella, and he's a minimalist, and he does challenges throughout the year. And one of his challenges was to quit social media. And I thought, it's not really good for me at this moment. Let me just try it. It was meant to be 30 days, and it turned into 10-month hiatus. And I absolutely loved it. I feel like the ignorance at that moment in time was really bliss. I was just focusing on what I needed to do for myself. I had all this time, and I really enjoy writing. And so I started an anonymous blog. I started learning Spanish. And so there's so many things I did because I wasn't spending time on social media. And so, I created my blog and just sharing the things I heard from reading different blogs, different podcast stuff. And that's kind of how my website grew. And just the stuff I learned through that, really.
And this is what, the reason why I wanted to share that is because there's people out there that actually sit on the social media, and I just know that it diminishes your mental health, because if you're not sure of yourself, and then you watch other people influencing, looking good, feeling good, buying clothes and things that you can't ill afford, and if you're not stable, it actually can destabilize you. I don't know if anyone else agrees on that. Corinne, what's your take on that?
Yeah, absolutely. It has a massive impact, doesn't it? I think social media. So I think it's really important that everybody, to an extent, can be aware of what you are, your intake. It can have a massive negative role, especially if people's mind states are a little bit off, for sure.
That's mind state of being off is an understatement. There was something again that Sabrina shared with me, which was there's people that, I mean, without social media, there's a lot of things that we wouldn't have. Like, we wouldn't be able to have all of this conversation that we're having
Pros
right
and
now.
cons.
So we can't knock that too much.
Yeah.
But what about the people that are out there? What's your take is what I should say. What is your take about the people who are actually out there who feel that they can't reach out to anyone? And I'm talking about can't even go to Mind, or should I call, the Samaritans, how do they make that step to say, okay, I'm so ashamed that I feel like this. What do I do? Do you have any, what suggestions? I mean, I know what I can say, because as I told you at the top of the show, I am one of those people. I am so proud. I'm a very proud person. And so when I first started realizing that I can't get out of bed, I wasn't going to tell anybody that. How dare I? Oh God, no, what, me? Are you mad? I can't let no one know that I'm feeling down. How dare I let people into, I've got to build this facade. I need to look like this. I need to be like this. And then when you find that you actually cannot get out of bed, you're not thinking straight, you're crying all the time. Well, not all the time, but you're crying. Your thoughts become negative. You start to tell yourself you're no good. What do we do then? Is there anyone that, let me throw that to you, Craig. Do you have anything that you would say to somebody if you heard them say that?
Stop. Just stop. And take a moment just to understand that 99% of everything you're worrying about is never going to happen. It isn't easy, and it's certainly not my place to say it, because we're all individuals and we're all unique. We're all different. But I honestly believe if you just take a step back, chill, breathe, and understand that even this will pass.
Yes.
And then perhaps, as I said earlier on, reach out, because people are inherently good. People want to help.
I realize that a lot of, and I know I shouldn't, there are when I say normal people, I am not talking about, the singers and the actors and people like that, because a lot of them are actually coming forward and having breakdowns on social media. Lizzo the other day, she, whoever knows who Lizzo the singer is, she actually was crying on Twitter, and I kept thinking, oh my good God, it's all well and good you've broken down here. Wasn't there anyone in your family that you could have picked up the phone rather than speak to 20,000 people on Twitter? And she broke down. And I found that quite worrying. Very
but maybe
worrying.
people become so attached to social media, more so than their family. Maybe that's happening. So they feel more comfortable to reach out in that way.
But at least she reached out.
I did. I saw that. But for me, I just thought, oh my God, it's, and trust me, I have gone onto social media when I was at that pinnacle of alcohol abuse, and I actually went on and just wrote on my page, this is the day I stop. This is the day. And I think it's because I needed to tell somebody. I needed to shame myself to stop drinking. And and when I saw that, and I did this I'm coming to my 4th year of sobriety, but when I look now how much people troll people on social media, and it makes it even harder for people to reach out to other people, because you think people are mean. There are mean people out there, so it's either that you go and speak to the BBC, or you either come onto platforms like this. But what I wanted today was for you guys just to impart that it's not all at loss. That, it takes one step. All of us have had individual traumas. And
I think majority of people have all suffered from
100%.
depression or anxiety or something. This is like, I would just reinforce to everybody, you are not alone. This is not an individual thing. I've experienced it. You have. I'm Craig, Sabrina. I'm sure you know. Probably most of us at some point in our life have gone through a dark patch, for sure.
100%. Yeah,
and it's getting out of that dark patch. And this is what I wanted you guys to share and just, you know, let people know that it's rife. And Corinne, you use meditation and yoga. Not everybody can afford that. Nowadays, you've got the apps where
meditation doesn't cost a thing.
Well, that's what I was coming to. Exactly.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
This is exactly what I was just going to come to. I was thinking, you know, meditation, you know, please give us some tips, right where you are, of the best way that you can meditate without having to go through the whole shenanigans. What's the best way to meditate to get yourself in that mindset?
The absolute best thing to remember and think about is, before you start meditating, is do not put pressure on yourself. That's the key, first of all, because a lot of people do, they put the pressure on and think, oh, it's just not happening, my mind is just too busy, and then they start fighting with themselves. So no pressure whatsoever. Just relax yourself, get yourself in that mode. Whatever comes into your mind is fine. You don't fight it. You just let it come in, but let it go back out again. There's no pressure whatsoever. And find a nice quiet spot. Make sure there's no distractions. Be comfortable, be warm, and just sit quietly. Just quiet. Just go inside. Just feel your body. Get in tune with every muscle of your body. Let everything start to relax. You'll even begin to feel your heartbeat. You'll feel that slow down, and you just slow yourself right down and give yourself that bit of self-love, self-care, and just nurture.
And it's hard.
Inside.
What about the people that find it difficult to even comprehend calm?
Okay, then a little help could be play some music. Get some nice soft music in the background so your mind can then a little bit attach to that, and that will calm you. Take some deep breaths, do the breath work so you can focus on the breaths rather than anything else that's coming in.
That's
and
beautiful.
Again, social media, YouTube, that there's a lot of information as well that can be really helpful. So I know there's a lot of negative stuff that can not be great, but there's a lot of real helpful stuff out there.
Craig, what's the advice you give to people that want to find another way to, on top of the meditation, what is another tool that people can use also with your products that can help them?
Well, for me, the best thing that I've ever done for myself is exercise. Now my products will help balance the endocannabinoid system that we all have within ourselves. But 3 years ago, I joined CrossFit, and it was the best thing I ever did in my life. It's very tough, very tough. But for that, when you were speaking about meditation earlier on, instead of being in a quiet place for that 1 hour, I'm in a world of hell, and there's nothing else that I can think of.
Opposite. Yeah.
And for me, coming out of that environment is a complete and utter relief. So yes, I would suggest look up your local CrossFit box.
But it still boils down to exercise.
Exercise, 100%. Yeah,
does.
for me.
And it's all about raising your endorphins, your serotonin, your dopamine. So anything like the physical activities, meditation, anything that's going to make you feel good generally. It could be a walk in the park or massage therapy. It's going to raise all of that from the inside out, and you're going to feel good and better.
Yeah. Sabrina, your take. Please tell me.
So I kind of have this thing. I have like a formula for a fulfilled day, and they're just 5 things, the 5 E's, and it's kind of touching on the similar thing. So it's exercising my mind, and that's my meditation practice I do first thing. The Spanish is another one. Challenge myself. I feel like it's always good to maybe learn a new skill. Anything you're interested in that just stimulates your mind. Exercise my body. I'm an athlete. athlete, so I train 6 times a week, but I'm not usually now going train for a marathon. Again, walking outside, opting to take a walk instead of driving the car, and just being outside and enjoying the nature, enjoying the sunlight. So my thoughts is one, and so I love to write my thoughts down. And we were saying on the way, people might not feel they're able to reach out to somebody, and there might be a few barriers. So they might feel like me telling somebody this, they might not be able to help me, so I don't want to waste my time anyway. That might be something playing in someone's mind, or they don't want to overload somebody with that information. They don't stress them out. But I always try and say, if you can write it down on paper, at least you're getting it out of your head, and it's like you're telling someone without really telling them.
Oh my gosh. That's well, I was just going to say, talking about writing, that's something I did years ago. So when I'd gone through like a darker patch, I didn't want to reach out to anybody. But I would write. So I would write poetry. I would just write and get everything out. And that was a good release.
100%. It's like a decompressing, guys. And so I always advocate for writing things down. The other one is just engaging in conversation. As we are now, it's really nice. I feel like it's really, you get a lot of energy from other people. You never know what you can learn from someone else. I always feel like everyone can bring something of value to the table.
I think so.
No matter where you're from. So
definitely.
And then finally, it's like evaluating my day. And that's just like asking myself, have I acted in accordance with my values? Have I met my to-do list? And I'm a big fan of to-do lists. Again, it's just ticking things off. And it's quite rewarding as well once you've like completed it. And so they're my 5 E's for fulfilled day.
Bit of productivity in your day. That's a feel good thing for you, isn't it?
100%.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And real food.
Yes.
Real food. Yes. I was saying to you guys earlier that where people they eat for comfort. I've become a comfort eater. And please, all three of you, please don't have a go at me. But I just literally just started, and it's only been in the last 3 months, and I'm not sure why I'm doing it. And it took me a while to say, do you think where you've coped for the last how many years really well with stress, and where you probably would have had alcohol to relax you, so as soon as something stressful hits my mind, no matter if I've worked out, because as you can see, I'm always got a fit, I've always got this, checking my heartbeat, how many steps I've done, 10,000 today, yay. But even with that, all it does, it takes one email that is a bad news or something of rejection, and before I know it, I'm in a slump. And I know other people are like that, so I'm saying it just so if anybody else out there can relate to what I'm saying. So high, but all it takes is just one conversation, that one word, and all of a sudden you need a bag of sweets. You need to break that habit that you've formed for the last week or two, and you find yourself starting all over again. So you've done really great work for 3 weeks, you've started eating healthily, you started to get your mind right, but it just takes. And this can be a relationship, not just me in that state. There are people that I've had energy, and the synergy that I've had in the last 36 hours has been crazy, because all I did was I walked from my normal walk to another lady. And by the time I met her and stood there, I said, hello. And I smiled. And she said, oh, I haven't seen you for a while. I said, yeah, just been, holed up in the house. Yeah, but we're allowed out, she said. I said, yeah, but, there's things that I've got so used to being indoors. It's become, I feel like I'm now institutionalized. And just by saying that, she opened up and literally started to say, this is the things that's been happening to her, without going in too deep, but she actually it felt like she needed to tell someone. And I don't know her from a can of paint. And it was just, she felt that she needed right there. And then she said, I was about to break out crying. And as I started speaking to you, you made my day. And I said, but I haven't done anything. She said, I just feel that I needed just to talk to someone.
You listened.
And
Yeah.
And all I did was I said, oh, wow. Okay. But little does she know that I was already got my own crap going on.
Oh, we all have.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. This is what that's the point I'm trying to hopefully get across. I was feeling, as much as I was running and squatting and all the different things, there was still something that was dark here. But I kept walking it out. And by the time I got down to it, and I was smiling and I was laughing. And by the time I got to the lady, I just smiled at her and I just said, yeah, you know, da 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 da. And it just came out. And she said, you're the first person I've been able to say these things to, and you understand what I'm saying. And you and you can relate to what I've just said. And I thought, wow. I said, look, the only thing I can turn and say to you today is this: stand in your power. No matter how bad your day is, stand in that power. So even if that power is the smallest bit of water, that is the power that's left at the bottom of your feet, stand in it. And believe that it will fill up, and it will get more, and it will get more, and it will get more till you're really strong again. Because that's all I could think of coming out of my mouth. And I don't know about you guys, that's how I felt. And then literally about 2 hours later, I ended up having a conversation with someone who I hadn't spoken to for ages. And I think I must have they called me, and it was by accident. But it wasn't by accident. They rang me, and it's like they went, "Oh my God!" I went, "Hello." I said, "Oh, it's all right." And they literally just went, "Bruh."
That was your energy of the day.
And I went,
Great.
"That's what I'm saying."
It was meant to happen.
People, right? But it made me start to feel that you're not useless, Val. Everything's okay. It's okay. So I'm sharing that because we do get those days where we feel, I don't know about you guys, where you absolutely feel that you're not making a difference in yourself, or you know, just everything is wrong. Am I supposed to be here? Why is it that I want to be 18 again, or some crap, you know? But we all go through those motions of wanting to live that life that we had before, which was good. Why is my life now like what it is? And I'm saying all these little things because it's true. These are things that were said to me. So I'm picking up bits of the conversations that was said to me. Why do I, you know, why do I look like this now? Why is my life changed? Why am I still in the same relationship and I want to get out? I can't get out. And it's things like that which causes stress in the home, causes depression. Your relationship can cause all of these stress factors, you know. So I'm just imparting what someone who does have anxiety and how I try to get up and make a difference. There's sometimes I have a show, and 2 hours before a show, the way I have to slap myself and actually go, come on. I'm being serious, guys.
Like, I'm like, girl, you're being too hard on yourself, Valerie. You are amazing.
I'm serious. You know. So I'm just saying, if I get like that and I still have to kick myself to show up, what about the people who can't show up, who feel that they can't show up?
For me, what's also helped earlier on with my anxiety is acceptance. I don't know if you can relate, ladies. Acceptance for me in any and every situation. Accept that the guy that cut you up on the motorway is obviously having a bad day. You know, just that acceptance that shit happens.
Shit happens, and don't take things personally.
Exactly. That helped me immensely.
I love that, the acceptance. And Corinne says, don't take things personally. Do you know what I mean? And what I've taken away from Sabrina is, hope anybody else can relate to that, is write it down. Write it down. A lot of this, maybe because I come from the music industry, but you find that creative people and rappers as well, they use their singing or their rapping and talk about the story, even though I think some of the stories they talk about is crap, because it really, you do not live in the ghetto. And sorry, I'm just putting it out there. You don't live in the ghetto.
They're living in the
council estate, right? Most of the council estates have been knocked down and given you decent houses, you know. But yeah, I know that some people do live you know, rough areas and, you know, knife crime, gun crime, you name it. So I get that, you know. Some people can write it really well, but there are genuine young men out there who are struggling. And there are young ladies out there who feel that it's okay. They're struggling. So I'm gonna spend my money on myself, my hair, my boobies, and, you know, all those aesthetic, right.
Yeah.
Aesthetically.
But if it's not good internal, then it's not gonna change.
No.
There you go.
See, this is where I've spoke to a couple of schools now, and schools, I think, around the UK are becoming a bit more aware. So they are really starting to bring in the health and well-being and the mindfulness, and to give children the tools to work from here firstly. So if that can spread out hugely across the UK, that's going to really help a lot of kids, I think.
Oh,
for sure.
Is that something that you do in the schools, Corinne, you were saying? Is that
yeah, I've just been approached by another school, so I'm in talks with them at the moment. Yeah.
Wow.
Fantastic. Is there
And
anything
individually I do things with children, just to help like that, just to bring in that confidence and to work from inside rather than trying to rely on aesthetically or material items to make you feel good. It's got to come from in here.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
Oh wow, this is and that's the point I was trying to get to, and I'm so glad I've said it because I can hear you guys, it's coming out of you, because that people are using clothes and money, or pretending they have money, to make themselves feel good.
Everything from clothes to drugs to alcohol to, I mean, anything and everything.
And they're not addressing the pain, the trauma.
They're not, but this is what we try to promote, I guess, guys, isn't it? It is. It's let's start from in here, because honestly, once you start doing that and really gaining that inner strength, you almost become untouchable. And it doesn't matter if you're wearing shoes that have got holes in or anything, because you feel good. Like, and that's what we need to bring out to everybody.
100%.
And that's why it's true. Self-awareness is definitely key, and the more self-aware you are, the more in tune you are with yourself, your life, other people. So it's important. Self-awareness.
Self-awareness and responsibility.
And that's it. Everybody has to take responsibility for 100%. Yourself as well.
100%.
Adults especially. I mean, children obviously you want to guide and educate them, but adults, then there comes a point we have to take responsibility for ourselves.
100%. Mental health, physical health. You need to be responsible for your own well-being. You can't rely on the NHS or any other part, any other affiliate. You know what I mean? Any other body, for instance.
You have to deal with it for yourself.
Correct.
Or get a bit of guidance, but then you follow on. You know, gain that strength and follow through.
Do the research. Do the research.
And take responsibility.
And I always say
backing on that. Backing on the responsibility thing, I have like these 3 quotes I always wake up to and look at, and one of them is, "The choice is always mine," and that's just a reminder that I'm always responsible.
So similar.
Literally, that I wake up and I
that's what I say.
That. So the choice is always mine. At the end of the day, I can choose. And that's it. It doesn't. There's nothing else. So I
do that in my meditation. So if I'm doing like a corporate or a group meditation in the morning, then I might throw in, "Today is going to be a good day." Why? Because you choose this, and it's like it's your choice.
I love this. The choice is always mine.
That's it.
It is your choice. That's deep. That is so beautifully deep. There was one question that was thrown in the group to Craig. Can I ask, do people who suffer from lupus, SLE, use the CBD products? And this is probably, this could relate to anyone, Craig and Sabrina, the CBD products, and how would you benefit from the product if you have lupus?
As I said earlier on, CBD helps with your endocannabinoid system, which is within every one of us. So if you can balance that and create homeostasis in your body, then that will assist. But again, I need to point out that we are only just beginning to learn about this particular plant, our endocannabinoid system. So I honestly believe a lot more research is needed.
You really do.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's looking positive.
It's looking very positive. Yeah, the signs
Looking
are
good.
yeah, the signs are saying that it helps. So yeah.
What would you say, Sabrina? As I said, you've got the lupus yourself, a variant of it. Are you able to take CBD? Is it something that you, as a sufferer, are you able to take it?
Yeah, I reckon it's the same thing because I'm an athlete as well. That might be the only issue. But with your saying about the TH element not being in there and I can get the pure product, is something I would explore. Because of course, like the dermatologists or the NHS institutions, they give us these medications and stuff. But a lot of people do the natural route or use natural remedies to help themselves. So yeah, it's just something I would explore for sure. And again, when you're saying how would it benefit, it would be reducing the inflammation, I guess, and obviously CBD can help with that. So that's how it would benefit.
It's correct. It's known to help with inflammation and pain. So I mean, for instance, a lot of my CrossFit buddies, after a hectic session, if we're feeling sore, we'll take a little bit of CBD, and it helps with sleep. And as you know, we repair ourselves whilst we sleep. So it's not a miracle drug or anything like that. It's just an aid. It's another. It's helpful. Correct. Yeah, precisely.
Corinne, is it something within your framework, because everything is very natural, homeopathic for yourself?
Yeah.
Is CBD something that you would include within your practice?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I have just recently actually been incorporating a little bit of the balm. It's like a nice balm that we use just to really relax the muscles and stuff. So definitely it's something future-wise, I would look to educate myself more on, research a lot more and incorporate that for sure. So we would talk, Craig.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk. I've got an amazing balm. It's imported from Michigan. It is amazing. Yeah, it's
really
amazing.
Is. I'm not trying to sell it for him. I really can't. But I don't think you guys can see, but these are his oils. And when Craig came on to the show the last time, we were just flooded. It was like over 200 questions, and it was we just ran out of time. And when he came on, he was just explaining what his products did. And luckily for myself, I was able to try it before he came onto the show, because there was a lot of people who had anxiety, depression, literally pain in the knees, and cancer sufferers. And the feedback that once he had finished the show and then they purchased the balm, which is 100%, it's like beeswax.
It's all organic, correct?
It's all organic.
See, that's lovely. That's right up my street for sure.
Yeah, there's nothing synthetic in it at all. It's comes from organic bees in Michigan. There's 500 milligrams of CBD in the balm itself. There's no THC in it at all, so athletes can use it without the fear of having any absorption. So yeah, it's one of my favorite products, to be honest.
Beautiful.
And I think that's nice. Like I will always opt for a natural remedy rather than.
Likewise. 100%.
Well, I would let you two all speak. You three, when we get offline, we can have that conversation. Definitely. I just think it's, I didn't expect this to happen. Today was just to talk about mindfulness and the things that we can do to ease our well-being. And I want to thank you guys for actually just imparting just little tidbits of how to cope. I've taken away, which is it's my choice. I've taken away. It is my choice.
I've taken that away.
Yeah, I've taken away my choice. Yeah, and from Craig, I've taken acceptance, and from Corinne, I have taken. And I'm hoping that everyone has found a little bit of tidbits, like I've just said, which is what I've taken from Corinne is be in that space, eradicate, put yourself in that space. It's not easy for everybody. Everybody is different, and it is good. Find a way to talk.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's not
Reach out.
reach. Yeah, it's easy for us to tell someone to reach out. It isn't that easy. It really isn't. From young kids to teenagers. When a teenager actually says to their parents, "I need help,"
You know,
they have exhausted without even trying. That their mind has decided, I can't. I just can't do this, and this is where they're at. For me, before I bring this to a close, I just want to say what I've taken, and I'm hoping that people that watch this have been able to take something from this too, is to thank you all for your busy day, Corinne, Craig, and Sabrina, for sharing.
It's a pleasure.
Absolutely,
sharing is caring.
Yeah, sharing is caring. As I said, I just didn't want it where we were digging into places that we have not experienced, but hopefully we imparted knowledge and ways of assisting ourselves to not have the breakdown, but speak to someone, find a way to find, even if it's that slight bit of 10 minutes of happiness, because that 10 minutes of happiness can last a whole day. It can awaken that the endorphins in your head for that day. And on that note, is there any parting words from each of you individually that before we go to say to everybody out there, starting with you, Sabrina, you're at the top. We're coming out of lockdown. Give us a positive to get out of here.
A positive to get out of there, I would just say, just mindfulness is just paying attention in the present moment, because the present moment is beautiful. You're not going to get it back. So yeah, pay attention to the present moment, get in touch with nature, listen to the birds singing, enjoy the sun on you. It's just taking joyful moments out of everyday life. Definitely.
And your handle of where people can go onto your page. I know it, but please tell them a bit about your mindful page, where they can check into you and hear your daily thoughts. What is it?
Yes. So do follow me at Sabrina Bakare. I think my name's come up somewhere, but it's SABRINA BAKARE. And yeah, I just talk about mindfulness, meditation, all things positive, trying to promote positive mental health and well-being. And you can find me on there.
Fantastic. Craig, positive. Leave us with something positive, please. Oh, Sonia's just joined us.
Well, that's positive. She's sleeping very well, which is amazing.
This is Craig. Thank you. That's a really good. Sonia, I hope you don't mind, but I'm actually going to tell the story. So I hadn't spoken to Sonia in a little while, and I think her grandbaby had a birthday a couple of days ago, and that's the first time I've seen hair or sight of Sonia, to be fair. We're all busy life, and today I got a text from her yesterday, and I thought, damn, that text is a bit late. So then I texted her, and then she texted me like nearly 7 hours later. And on the back of that text, Sonia, I'm sorry, I got to tell the story. She said, "Are you all right?" So I said to her, "Yeah." And I'm thinking, but I sent this text like 7:30 this morning. Why are you responding to me at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon? So I said to her that my legs were hurting. Sonia comes back and says, "I took a little bit of the CBD oil under her tongue." She said, "I took a bit of the oil in the morning under my tongue," right? But she's laughing. And she went and had her day. She had a really good day. She went out and did all the little bits. And she didn't, I must admit, I must ask, Sonia, does your knee still hurt? Because I remember that was one of your biggest problems. So she's gone out. She got in about 6:30. And bless her, she said she barely could eat her food, so she's had a good day, no problems. She fell asleep while eating the food.
Wow.
And didn't wake up.
Must have had a busy day.
Yeah, and then she woke up about 11:45, and then she went back to sleep. And then this morning, she said, she woke up, I think it was 9:45, and she just didn't even know where she was. Wow. She literally was out for the count.
Amazing. Sleep is so important.
That was on the back of she reckons that because she took the CBD oil.
Well, it just helps balance the endocannabinoids. Well, this is the thing. It's helping balance the endocannabinoid system. You're creating homeostasis in the body, and it's just helping.
And her body needed that rest.
The body, yeah, she probably
needed it.
Yeah.
I am so glad you said it, because I was just about to say, Sonia, it's because your body needed the rest. And the CBD was telling you needed the rest.
Yeah.
It really was. Because when I had the swollen feet, yes, but not so bad. Only received she only got her balm yesterday, so I'll be giving it a try. But she's got the oil, so she only got the balm. That's true. She only got it yesterday. So that's when she started trying. That's probably why she fell asleep. The truth is, when you do try it, I find for me, it brought me down like that, and I slept, and I didn't have any more pains in my legs at all.
So
and I find that I don't need to take it as a lot. My mum unfortunately got taken into hospital last week, and I had to insist that she took this balm, and she said, I am using it, Val. She said, I am using it. I said, please do. And it made her slightly pain-free. It allowed her to sleep.
Yeah.
It allowed her body to be able to rest in that moment.
Great for the insomniacs then.
Definitely. It definitely did. And that's what it did for me. So now I don't have to live on it so much. But it's there, and this is what he has. I'm here promoting his goods again, as per normal. I shouldn't. I'm so sorry, Craig, but they're just so good.
No, thank you so much.
It's come out perfectly where it's the National Mental Health Week. It's not about so much as about the drugs. It's about helping people to help themselves. Correct. Find a way to help yourself. Corinne, on that note, give us a parting positive parting, please.
Positive parting is just remember, everybody, just be kind to yourself, be kind to others, don't put pressure on yourself. But always, be kind. Simple.
Oh, I love that. And for me, Sonia, yes, she says, knee still hurts, not too bad. Very, very true. I've always had problems sleeping. So with this, sleeping was a godsend. She said it's the first deep sleep she's had in months. It actually frightened her.
Actually, I have balm myself, and I used some balm, and I did sleep like a baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Craig, what are you doing to people? Or what's the CBD? On that note, guys, thank you
so much.
It's been so refreshing today. It's been I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed having the conversation.
It was so good.
And hopefully we can as always, I always say to Corinne, you're going to come back at some point. And Sabrina, you're not getting rid of us now. You be one of the regulars. You'll be coming back. Craig is always going to be a regular.
Lovely. I look forward to it.
Yeah, this has come so perfect. I didn't mean to plan it like that, but it's happened in this week. So it is absolutely perfect. Thank you for the knowledge that you've all imparted. Thank you to everyone watching on the YouTube, on the Facebook, etc. I hope you were able to, apart from me chatting away as per normal, I hope you were able to take something away from that. And with that, we're all going to say together, we're all going to say to everybody, good night, good night, good night. And God bless. And stay safe, everybody. Please stay safe. You guys don't disappear. Just jump into the green room while I say good night to everybody. Hang tight. Hold on. Have I got another one here? Let's have a look. Okay, bear with me a second. Right. Don't disappear, everybody. Stay right there. All right. Look, that was that was beautiful. It was just a cool mindfulness show today. And I'm hoping that you were able to take some information from this. Seems like I've lost everybody. Oh, my phone went to sleep. But hey, I'm hoping that people can still see me. But if they can't, fair enough. I have died. My phone just died. My camera went berserk. Bear me a second. See if I can bring my other camera in. Yay! Right, okay. So let's take this up. So I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you for watching. You're watching at the end of my everything here. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you have a good night and you had good information to take from all of this. Good night. God bless you. Catch you back on the Friday night show with the unsigned artists that are coming through. Stay safe. Take care.